1 John 5:4. For everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy PB. I've been a full-time content creator and entrepreneur for about the last 5 years. And today I want to talk about partnering with God in the perspective of victory. Now, why is this important? I think that this topic is specifically important for us because if we look at the world, if we look at our challenges from our human and natural perspective, we're going to look at it from wins and losses. We're going to have doubts. We're going to have fear about certain situations. But in God's perspective, God never loses. God always wins. He has victory. He accomplished victory over the most vile experience a human could go through, which is death. And when we partner with him in this perspective and in this track record, everything in the world looks different. Every situation we go through, everything we battle with, any oppression that we experience in our life, all of that changes with this new perspective of victory. So here's the thing, the better you are at something, or the more you win in a specific field, the higher the expectations are from others. Like for example, LeBron James, if LeBron doesn't make the finals, people are so ready to trash talk the dude. If Usain Bolt doesn't get first place in a race, people are going to ask what's wrong with him. But for someone who doesn't have a track record of achieving much, their expectations are not set that high. So for example, if the best high school football team played the worst college football team and that high school team won, they'd be like, wow, this is an amazing team. They are so talented, even though they didn't beat the best college football team. So what I'm trying to get at is that God's expectations are extremely high because his standard has been set that high. For us as humans, our standard and expectation is not that high. I think it goes without saying that us as a human race, we fail to meet the standard of excellence that God operates in. Humans fail to meet expectations all the time. We know that. So if we have the perspective of a human and we say our expectations that of the natural and that of humankind, we're always going to operate with that perspective as well. Picture it this way. Imagine you go to a really expensive restaurant and you know you only have $100 to spend. How do you look at that menu? You don't look at the ingredients, the reviews, or anything first. The first thing you look at is the price. You limit yourself because of what you have in your inventory, what you have in your wallet. But now let's take that same scenario and someone has given you $1 million and they say, hey, you can go to this restaurant and get whatever you want. How are you going to approach that experience now? It's the same way with life. When we approach the experience of life, knowing that our inventory, knowing that the strength that we pull from comes from the God of abundance, the God of victory, then we now operate in a way that we have victory and we can choose and we can win in any circumstance, in any scenario, no matter what comes our way. This is why the Bible tells us to renew our mind and to take on the heart of God, because when we conform our mind and our hearts and our perspectives and our lifestyles to that of God, who is the ultimate creator and has the answer to everything, we see everything differently. It affects us internally and therefore will affect us externally. I've said this before, but I want to reiterate this. When God gets the ultimate glory, we get the ultimate benefit. The whole purpose of this video, even though it is motivational and encouraging, is not to tell you that you need to go out and achieve for yourself. This is not about possessive success. This is about achieving the level of potential and fulfillment that God already has for you that you may be avoiding. God has created you for a specific purpose and for a specific level of success. And you have the ability to achieve that if you take on his likeliness, if you take on his character, if you take on his perspective. And the only way that happens is if God is getting the ultimate glory. God reveals his strength and his love and his character to us on earth through the testimonies of his disciples and his servants, through our testimonies. So he's going to take us right now. He's going to take you right now, whatever your weaknesses are, whatever your doubts are, your fears, your insecurities. He's going to take that and use that, switch that so that he can get the glory. Because if we use human means, if we are able to say like, yeah, I did this by hard work and dedication, I was able to make sure that I did this and this was my human works, that I did this and merits and I earned this way. If we do that, then God does not get the glory. But if he takes you and makes you uncomfortable, like how we called Jonah to go and prophesy to Nineveh, and Jonah didn't want to do it. He was uncomfortable with this task. He tried everything to avoid it, and God literally used the supernatural to bring him to his assignment. Like how God used Gideon. Gideon felt like he was completely incapable of the calling that God was pushing him towards. And in fact, even when Gideon tried to make himself prepared, God said, nah, you're doing too much. You're too prepared. You have way too many men. I'm not going to be able to get the glory from this. I want to show how powerful I am. When you open yourself up to give God the glory in your life, you also receive the ultimate benefit as well. I want to leave you with this last point. Don't let your expectations and knowledge of the Lord limit God in your life. Your level of belief dictates the presence of God in your life. Matthew 7:7-11. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks it will be open. For which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? This is simple. These are the words of Christ. These are the words of our God, our Creator. You do not receive because you don't ask. When you go through something in life, you immediately go to, how can I solve this myself? How can I fix this problem? What's the best way to go about this? You need to learn to release control. Sometimes it's better that we don't know the answer to every situation that we have in life. Learning to allow God to be God in our lives is the best way for us to grow in our relationship with Him and to overcome everything that comes our way in life. Do not let your stubbornness limit God. Grow in your knowledge of the Lord, who is the truth. Grow in your godly perspective. Grow in your perspective of how God sees the world, of how God sees challenges, of how God sees oppression. When you dive into the Word and you meditate on it and you understand it, your whole life will shift. Your perspective will move different. You're now looking at a menu from an unlimited budget versus looking at a menu with just $100 in your pocket. You can eat abundantly. You can achieve all things. With God who is with you, there is nothing that is impossible. But as many people nowadays tend to take Philippians 4:13 out of context because they just don't understand the word. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. That is not saying that you have the God-given power to go and just achieve anything for a possessive success. This is not about you. This is about giving God the glory. Paul was talking about how he was able to be persecuted, to be in prison, to be beaten, and still have the joy of the Lord and still have the ambition to go and spread the good news of the gospel. That is what he's saying, to have the ability to continue to fight and prosper for the Lord. It's not about personal possessions. This is about success in the Lord. Again, when God gets the ultimate glory, you get the ultimate benefit. When you try to set yourself up for the ultimate glory, you set yourself up for destruction. Remember that. I love y'all very much. I hope that this encouraged you, having that perspective of a conqueror over everything, looking at the world different, that there's nothing that can hold you down, that there's nothing that can separate you from the love that God has already poured out in your life. It is there for you to receive. It's an internal shift, an internal mindset shift that allows you to look at life different. It's not an amount of money, a car, a situation, a relationship. It's not an environment, a community, a house. It's nothing materialistic, nothing in the natural that is going to save you, that is going to ultimately change your life. It is the ultimate source, God Himself, in your knowledge of Him and your faith in Him, that is going to change your life and change your situation. I hope that this encouraged you. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set your prayer requests down below. Do not allow Satan to think that you should hide the situation that you are in. Be expressive about it. It's not even your situation to handle, it's God's. So partner with brothers and sisters in Christ in the comment section below to pray over what is challenging right now, to discuss and to discern and to bounce ideas off each other about what's the best way to live out our faith. This is God's channel. This is a community for like-minded individuals who seek the Lord to come together and encourage each other and to hold each other accountable. I love y'all and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.